Hey guys, welcome to the Pilot Jam for Saturday. I'm so used to saying Friday. It's Saturday, August 26th. And we're in football season. So this is the football season schedule. And you know, I checked last year and we were actually doing them on Thursday night last year. But this year it's going to be Saturdays. It's going to be Saturday nights going forward for at least like the next eight or 10 weeks. Kind of depends on how things go with the season. But anyway, welcome back to the Pilot Jam. And sorry I missed you last week, but you know how it is. Kids are moving back to college and you got to do the family bit, and that's the way that is. But anyway, welcome to the show tonight. And we have some things to cover, that's for sure. But I want to start out by first off welcoming Andrew. You made it in first. And I think Andrew is taking Freddie's lunch money, man. I don't know. He said he just got into Discord, and Tim was slow on second place there. Tim, you're just not you're not fast on the sticks there, buddy. Dan Griffiths made it. How you doing, Dan? Good to see you. EQRC, hello pilots. I'm listening. I love that. I love that phrase. Mark Drury, hey, I made it from the UK. Hey, you're a poet and you didn't know it. That rhymes. Bill's here. How you doing, Bill? Glad you can make it. And he did smash the like button. I would encourage you guys to do that. If you haven't done it already, make sure you smash that like button. That's important. Helps with the algorithm, helps us get placement. So Dan says, I lived in Illinois for 25, then Iowa for 40. I lived in Illinois. I spent some time in Illinois. A lot of time, actually. William Tam is here. How you doing, William? Glad you can make it. T. Evans, good evening from Salt Lake City. Welcome. Jeff H. is here. Hi, Jeff. How are you? Henry A. Good day from Australia, another Aussie. Four Eyes is here. Hello. Mr. Skyrider here is here from the Northeast. How you doing, Keith? And it's Joylo. Good afternoon, RC fans. Well, glad you could make it. Hey, don't forget to say hello. Oh, there's Johan Opperman. Hello, everyone, he says. Don't forget to say hello in the chat when you get here so we know who's out there. So anyway, yeah, let's, it's a long week in review because it was kind of a 2-week period. So a lot of material this time. And, just because there was no Pilot Jam, that didn't mean we were taking a break from content. We definitely had a lot of content. And by the way, give me an audio check if you don't mind, guys. I like to do that audio check to make sure we're coming in loud and clear. So, and also not clipping. I hate clipping. It's a weird thing. These AV guys that spend their life doing this stuff, I don't know, man. They get it right. It can be challenging. Anyway, okay. So, first up was the RCVR day at the field, the August 12, 13. We had a great time. We had some out of town guests. Shane came up, brought the kids. And I'll tell you, I had the most fun shooting that intro out of any intro I think we've ever done. It was just an absolute blast. The kids, they like to participate in the video. And of course you want to embrace that, So Shane, I didn't see Shane out there so far. Hopefully he'll make it. But in any event, I just wanted to say thanks to Shane for sharing his family with us. And we had a great time flying with the kids. Thanks for the audio check, boys. We had a great time flying with the kids, and of course Dave and Fred and Tim and everybody that showed up. We just had an awesome time flying over that weekend. So really good time, good company, good friends. So had a great time. And thanks again to Shane for bringing the kids and sharing his youngsters with us. We had a good time with them. And of course they went home with some stuff too, right? We sent Ethan home with a Corsair and a Cub. And that Cub was from FMS. So thanks to FMS for sponsoring the channel with the airplanes. And I hope Ethan is having a blast with his new Cub. I know he'll get an opportunity to fly. He actually did a pretty good job flying it there. He got it up in the air and we had a good time watching him, and it was fun. It was all around good time. Next up, we did the video on the 16 channels of PWM from CRSF. That was actually a short video where I introduced the world to our little board that we're working on. And then we did a live video, more of a production style video, showing the details of that one. More on that later, but that was a quick little short. And then I had the MechPal X3 Pro first look. And the thing I want to tell you guys about the tools like that, I know laser cutters are a little off the track, right? When we're focused on things like radio control flying and radios and radio tech and all that stuff. However, pause for effect. The thing about these tools is that you can really use them. And by the way, just to give you an idea, let's see if I can find the right screen here. Just to give you an idea, I made this with my laser cutter, and you guys can go in and make stuff like this too. It's really not that hard to do. So, by the way, if you don't have an RCVR2, links in the description at the Etsy store, $17.99. Go get one. But the thing about the laser cutters is it's not just for making get gadgets to sell on an Etsy store. You can use them in the hobby to make all kinds of things. Now, I'll give you one example. When I was working with my B6 Neo chargers, I made little wood frames, made a couple layers, built it up, glued them, clamped them, and installed them in my box. They made very nice little cradles to make sure my chargers didn't move around in my box. So every now and then when those types of opportunities come up to show you guys tools that are out there, and that was, by the way, a nice budget option. It was a 10-watt laser, so not a super high power laser, but it's like, I guess the idea, if you're not familiar with lasers, think about the concept of using a saw. Like if you're going to cut a piece of wood and you get a saw with the really rough teeth, like a handsaw, and you cut it, you might be able to cut that board in 2 or 3 strokes, right? But if you use a hacksaw, for example, you'll still cut it, but it might take you 15 or 20 strokes. Same concept with a laser. So the more power it has, the faster it can cut through a material. The less power it has, the slower it cuts through, so you need to do more passes. But anyway, I do those videos from time to time to give you an idea of ancillary tools that are available out there that might make your modeling experience, or even if you're not into modeling, other things that you might be interested in making for the hobby possible and a little easier. So every now and then I'll take a gig like that for a sponsored video and show you guys. And I'll tell you that my laser, aside from the little RCVR2 Etsy store, $17.99. Aside from that, there are plenty of other things I've been using the laser for in the hobby. And Dave's got some ideas too on a battery tray. I'm kind of thinking about that battery tray for the big planes that require 2 batteries. Might be nice to make one of those, and instead of dealing with stuffing 2 batteries into a model and doing the dual Velcro strips and all that stuff. So just throwing that out there. That's why I do those videos from time to time. But the MechPow X3 Pro, decent little laser, and budget price, like $300. So it's approachable. So check it out if you've ever thought about getting a laser. It seemed like that was a decent little laser to start with. Of course, it didn't have all the bells and whistles of some of the more expensive stuff, but it does the job. It did the job. And it's probably a good way to experiment and maybe get into it to see if it's something you'd be interested in doing over time, right? And then next up was get more from your EdgeTX radio. These are a little bit out of order. I didn't count the live stuff and the production stuff, but automate your screens. And I did want to tell you guys, I'm just going to show you. I wanted to show, if you guys want to pick a model, you can pick one if you want to. But I figured I'd let you see on my radio, I do eat my own dog food. So if you watch that video, I press the model button on my laser, 67-inch laser, and I'm going to show you the logic screens right there. I've got my telemetry logic, my flight timer. If you saw the video, you know what I'm talking about here. That's my flight timer with my throttle lock, and that's the Knot 5 and Knot 6. And then the special functions are also set up to, I think they're way down here on the bottom on this one. There they are, the set the main screen functions. And you guys can, I'll show you the model selection screen if you want on this radio. But I added it to every single model, every single fixed wing model where I have telemetry. So if you guys want to see it, I'd be happy to show you. We can pick the 3D planes or whatever. But that video, that was triggered by my car. I got out of my car. I look at the dashboard and it's got this little summary thing right after I turn the key off. And I thought, that's actually really cool. And I've been doing that for a long time anyway. But the problem is I never actually did it. I got the screen. After the flight was over, I never did that. I never went and looked. And when I was getting out of my car the other day, it just kind of hit me like a V8, like, wait a minute, my car is automatically showing me a summary screen. And when I'm flying, if you guys watch Discord, all you guys on Discord know what I'm talking about, right? If you're on Discord, I post videos, or not videos, but static pictures all the time showing data from the radio, right? Because I'm interested in how this radio technology performs. So I thought, if my car can give me that, why can't my radio give me that? And I thought about it, and there are some easier ways to do it. Like if you wanted to, you could go into your model setup and just add a switch. You can go in and just say, well, I'm just going to add a switch. We'll call it SF20, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, we'll do SD down. And on SD down, we can put a thing in that says set the main screen. What is it? Main screen, set main screen. And we can say, we'll call it screen 2. So very simple, right? That's a very simple way to do it. And I'll back out. And now if I push that SD switch down, it's going to switch to the main screen to number 2, just like that, right? So very easy way to do it. But I thought by showing you a little bit of logic, you can kind of automate the process a little bit and only have it be relative or have it occur when you actually have telemetry. So anyway, the point about the whole deal is that EdgeTX is so extensible and it's got so many different ways to climb the mountain that there's lots of different ways to do this. And I try and every now and then I'll show you the more advanced concepts, and you know, use what works for you. That's the bottom line. So if you know, bottom line is I use this stuff after I do it. When I find a really good one, I actually do implement it on my radio. That was the moral of the story on that one. I thought you guys might be interested and see that I actually do put that into practice. I do put that into practice. When I find a good one like that, and I do like that, I think that's a really cool option for the radio. So anyway, that was the automate screen changes. And then the failure rate. Do not buy the Neos chargers. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. I'm not going to get into that too much right now, but we are going to talk about it tonight because I do have some things I'm going to tell you. But the failure rate, all I can say is after posting that video, that stirred up a little bit of a whirlwind, and a lot of people came in and made comments. A lot of people came in and said, some people said mine work. Some other YouTubers came in and said mine still work, no problems here. And then other people came in and said, man, I got the same problem. I've got, fan issues on mine. I'm sending them back. So unfortunately, I'm going to stand by the video, and I didn't see so far anything to change my mind. They still are sounding terrible. So high failure rate. And I'll show you in a little while what I did about it. So the B6 Neos are out the door. And at this point in time, all I could say about the B6 Neos is I would advise against it. Just that simple. It's, you guys work hard for your money. In my opinion, that charger not ready for retail consumption. I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel about it. We'll talk more about it. I have more details for you. So the next video was the live stream on the JPZ expander board. Oops, I see I got a typo in there. It was on the JPZ expander. And all I'm going to tell you about that at the moment, right now, is that we are working on a production version of it. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with it yet. To be honest with you, I don't know. But we're working on a version where it's like the one that I put together is a little bit more of a development style. It's all through-hole soldering. It's designed, to use a potentiometer for testing and calibration. So it's really, I mean, it could go in a plane, but it's really not meant to be one of these things that just gets shipped out to everybody. But we are working on a commercial version of it. And again, I don't know what's going to happen. We're kind of looking into it and considering different ideas and different options. But all I can say is that progress is being made, and we are looking at a version of it that it could be sent out to people, and it would have limited requirements or limited functional requirements for you guys to do work, to solder or add pins, or certainly use a potentiometer and stuff like. You won't have to do that. So anyway, that all I can say is hang tight on that. We're still kind of messing around with it and ideating a little bit. And then the last video was the pop top practice. And all I can tell you on that, man, is that 67-inch laser is my huckleberry, man. I love that plane. It is such a good plane. I was really having a lot of fun today with that plane. And all I can say about 67-inch planes in general is I do stand by my prior point of view, and that's that I think 67-inch is going to be like, that's a really good baseline plane. It's got everything. It's got visibility, stability in the wind, one single 6L 5000. An additional flight pack is not necessary, but it's got space if you want to do it. It's just easy to handle. It's not cumbersome to handle that one. All I can say is I really like the 67-inch form factor quite a bit. Excellent airplane. And that was it. Then we're on the PilotJam. So that wraps up the week and a half, 2 weeks in review. Let me go ahead and grab a look at the comments, and we will see. We'll get into the material, because I do have material. We got I've been storing up. We've got some stuff to cover tonight. All right, so it looks like the last comments are around the audio check. I appreciate you guys for checking there. A couple more hellos. We got Enrique popped in. How you doing? Stan Heaton, Steamy, Arkansas. Yeah, man, it's been hot here. I was kind of chuckling because at the field today, Fred said, boy, it's kind of cool out. It's August. I can't believe how cool out. And he wasn't wrong. It was actually, we had a nice breeze earlier in the day, but by I'd say that, 2 o'clock, it's like the hottest point of the day. We got up to 100. I took a picture, 100 degrees and Florida humidity. So yeah, the intro was really fun. Yeah, that intro was fun. T. Evans says, yeah, the kids were great, man. And Dave, Dave is just a comic. Dave is like he's our resident comedian, and he did a good job just kind of doing the ad lib, and we had a good time with it. The kids were awesome though. Tim says, I hope to make the January one. Yeah, last weekend in January. That's going to be our strategy going forward. So if you guys are in the neighborhood or if you're traveling over the winter, last week in January, we're going to do another fly-in, and it'll be at Lark's RC Field in Tavares, Florida. So last weekend of January, that's the plan. Null in the fall. Yeah, Freddie's been asking about that. He's been pushing to go to the Null in the fall thing. I don't know yet. We'll see. We're still kind of up in the air about it. I haven't decided. Still maybe. It's Joey Lowe. Any words on any new shipment of Huntsman RC Pusher? I don't even know what that is. I'm going to skip that one. Sorry, don't know. Dirt. That's a basic nickname. Hello. Well, how are you? Spin Launch Glide says, when you're bulk editing models, do you ever just work directly with the YAML rather than editing each file in companion? Yes, I do. I actually have done that. There are some really good tools in Linux, grep and sed, if you're familiar with those tools, that allow you to do editing. And yes, that is possible, but very advanced. So if you're comfortable with those types of tools and you're, comfortable in the command line, or, if even in like Visual Studio Editor, you can do it there as well. Certainly I have done that though. Yeah, absolutely. Tim says, I need to set that stuff up. Yeah, the screen summary was really good. Dan says, works good on my flights from this morning. Very good. I actually did it on my helicopter, one of my helicopters, not all my helis. I did it on the Kraken. I haven't done it and the OMP M4. I haven't done it on the rest yet, but I will. Andrew says, FPV quads give you an afterarm. Yeah, on the screen. That's right. You get it in the OSD, and yeah, you get it there too. Yeah, no doubt. Just fly more quads. Hey, man, I fly quads. I like my quads. Brett Pound says, logic examples are great. Thinking of the problem to solve is the hard thing. Yeah, I agree, Brett. And, it's one thing, when I started doing all these EdgeTX videos, I had a lot of people that would come in after a video and go, God bless, that's so complex. What are you doing to us? But I think a lot of those people have kind of faded by the wayside, because it seems like what's left now on the channel are mostly people who understand the spirit in which these things are given, right? It's not that my answer is the only answer. It's just a way to do things, right? And that's all I'm really trying to show, right? I try and show logic and how to think the way the radio thinks. And if you embrace that, then you win, because then you're unstoppable. You'll be able to come up with all these solutions on your own and come up. That's another reason I do mixed recipes. So instead of, I get a lot of questions. How do I mix this? How do I mix that? And rather than actually create the mix for people, I like to just show them the mix recipe type videos, and then say, go learn how to do mixes. And it's the old, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. That kind of argument, right? That's the point. So that's why, rather than responding to individual requests for mixes, I try and point people to the mix videos that I've already done, saying, look, if you learn how to do a mix, then you can mix whatever you want. And the same thing goes with the logic. If you learn how the radio thinks and how to apply logic, then you can do whatever you want to do. Right? And that's kind of where I am in my journey with the radio, right? Anything I want to do, I just come up with it and like, okay, if it's possible, I can generally figure it out. So anyway, RC Guy says, adding a snapshot automatically would be nice. Yeah, that'd be easy. All you'd have to do is when that logical switch triggers and you flip on that second screen, your summary screen, all you got to do is use that same exact trigger to do a screenshot. That's all you have to do. So if you want to do that stuff, go ahead. It's not hard. You just use that same trigger for the screen that comes up and say, I'd like to see a screenshot. That's all you'd have to do. In fact, you know what? That's it. Who is that? RC Guy. I like questions like that, right? Because what he's doing is he's embellishing, and he's saying, hey, wait a minute, we could take that a little further. And so let's show you, right? Let's show you how. I'm going to go into the logic screen and I'll show you what it looks like if I can get the brightness up just a little bit so you guys can see that. Let me zoom in just a touch. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it. Okay. So here it is. The, which one is it? It's L06. When the A is less than X, my flight timer is less than 850 and my throttle is locked. L06, that's the one, right? So when I see L06, what I want to do is come over to the special function screen, and there's my L06 right there. So let's just do this. We'll do an insert. So all I did was make a little space between 6 and 7 because I like to try and keep them together. You cannot do that on the logical switch screen, by the way, because that can break your logic. So just keep that in mind. So now we'll just take SF15 and I'm going to add L06 again. So it's a second, we're stacking commands, right? We're going to take a secondary action on L06. So there's L06. And all I'm going to do is go down here and hit screenshot. Just like that. So now when L06 goes on, that main screen kicks in, right? We set main screen number 2. And remember, if you remember the video, here's main screen number 2, right? So when I can't do it because I don't have a receiver ready, so I don't have telemetry, which means it doesn't work. That's the whole point. But if I had telemetry and this screen got kicked on or triggered by L06, then it would also grab a screenshot. So RC guy, you get a gold star for the night. That's a great question and a really, really good way to add some extensibility to what we did on the video. So that's the kind of stuff that I absolutely love to see. Good question. Bradley Norton says, hello, how are you? It's Joey Lowe. It says, I'm hesitant to purchase the Futaba Ready P51. Haven't really seen very much content. Yeah, I don't even know which P51 you're referring to, my friend. Take a deep breath, RC says, howdy, how are you? Are you aware if there are any plans to make ELRS stabilize receiver? I cannot confirm or deny that question. I can't confirm or deny. All I can say is that I've made my point of view very clear about it. That's all I can say. Bradley says, love your reviews. Getting TX16S this month and learned so much. Can't wait to put it into practice. Man, I think, if you guys, I know a lot of you guys watch the channel and you know my inventory. Some of you know it better than I do. This is a new radio. I went out and bought this retail. This is the Max edition. I took the V4. I did not buy the AG01 version. I bought the Max version with the V4 gimbals. It was like $250. I took the V4 gimbals out. I put my AG01s in, and this is the Express LRS version. And the reason I did that is because I really wanted to fly just the Express LRS version and see what it's like to live without the NPM, because I've had an NPM in my radio for like 3 years now, maybe longer. I need to go back and look. And I really wanted to try it with the internal module, and I kind of wanted to check the performance on the 250 milliwatt with the passive cooling. So this is kind of like my new daily driver radio right now. And then my prior daily driver is now assigned to the helicopters. So that's what I did. Anyway, yeah, the TX16S, it's a combination. Like it's, the people who ride Harleys and they say, well, if I have to explain it to you, you just don't get it. That's kind of how I feel about a TX16S with EdgeTX. If I have to explain, you don't get it. I love the radio. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not perfect. Nothing in my life is perfect. Not the least of which my radio, right? But it's so good. It's just so good. It does everything that I want. And what's more important, I trust it. I trust this radio. I trust Express LRS, and all of my planes now are flown with the TX16S, EdgeTX, and Express LRS. That's my magic combo. So yeah, great radio choice. I think value for the money, I don't think it can be beat. I would take this radio over anything else on the market. And by the way, I've looked, and you can confirm, there are people on Discord who can confirm. I've talked to other people about other radio technologies. I've thought about it. I've looked at them, and I just can't see the sense in making a change. I've inspected, and I thought, nah, I'm sticking with it. Let's see. Love your video. Okay. Midwest Tim says, that's how I learned. John has been a lifesaver. Well, good, man. I appreciate that. We have a lot of there's a lot of content on the channel. Lots of content. Let's see. Brett Pound, L06 screenshot. Wonder if timing would be an issue. You could also do a delay. Yeah, you could. You could put an edge switch in there. because the screenshot does take a second, right? It does take a moment. So yeah, you could use like an edge switch or build in a delay in one of your other functions or things you can do if you want to. Let's see. John, Radio Master EdgeTX equals God mode. Says Robert. I got to give Robert the heart for that one. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you. It out radios me TX16. Yeah, I love this radio, man. I just can't imagine flying without it. I won't give this one up until they come up with, you know, whatever the next revision. Of course, you know, I'm sure it'll be evolutionary. So at that point in time, yes, maybe. Okay, I think we got through all the questions. Bradley says, "What's the best receiver and flight controller to get all the telemetry info for TX?" Well, flight controller, are you talking about like an iNav? Because right now, like a lot of the flight controllers with, you know, the actual flight computers, it seems like the stocks are kind of limited. The SpeedyBee F405, I have one. I need to get it out. I bought one and my intention is to mess with it and try it out. So I know that one is highly regarded. Of course, the Maytech F7 stuff is pretty good too. I've had that in a couple of different planes. As far as receivers go, like I said, all of my receivers right now are Express LRS, and there's great options. You know, the Radio Master ER stuff is great, very smooth PWM output. The EPW6, I've used a bunch of those before the ERs came out. I bought a stock of EPW6s. They're very good. And what I like about the EPW6 is $14, 6 channels of PWM, and it outputs CRSF and SBus. I mean, and I've got data like the EPW6, even with the single antenna, excellent performance. So, and it is temperature compensated crystal oscillator, which I think is snake oil, but whatever. It's $14, hard to beat. And I have those in a lot of planes, a lot of planes. So, and of course the ERs from Radio Master are excellent. Okay, I think that's it on the comments. So let's get into material. What do we have first? Oh, 30K, man. How about that? We hit 30K. Can you guys believe it? I wanted to just take a minute to celebrate you. And you know, I know I'm the guy with the mic and you know, I put the videos up and all that stuff. But you know, this channel is nothing without you. And I especially want to give a very special call out to a couple of people. Namely, it's the regulars, the Discord regulars, you guys that are always on Discord, always helping out, always participating, always helping the new people that come in. I want to give a special shout out to you guys and say thank you. You know who the regulars are. The list is too long for me to go through it, you know, top to bottom, because I will definitely forget somebody and I would hate to do that. But you know who you are. We talk on Discord all the time anyway, so you know that. So I want to give a special shout out to you guys that are out there on Discord, constantly hanging out and constantly being part of our little community. The second big call out I want to give are not only those guys, but the ones who are patrons. Those of you who sign up for patreon.com/RC video reviews, $3 a month. You can buy me a Starbucks. It all helps, man. It helps me get material and content for the channel that I can explore and experiment and test and push and tell you what I think of it and then show you how it works if it comes down to that. So I just wanted to make sure that I gave a special call out to you regulars that are on Discord helping people out and to the patrons. And I would encourage you guys to get on patreon.com if your budget allows and you like what you learn here. That's great. And for everybody else that subscribes and watches the videos and leaves the comments and leaves the thumbs up, this channel is here because of you. So I wanted to recognize that and to thank you for participating and being part of the RCVR journey, man. It's been a journey. I started this channel, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, getting kind of serious about the, you know, making production quality content. And I've learned a lot. You guys have taught me a lot. You've tolerated my growing pains and you tolerate my mistakes. I'm a human, you know, I do the best I can, but you tolerate the mistakes. And you've been, you know, overall, it's been a very enjoyable experience. I just want to say thanks, and I appreciate you and recognize that this channel exists because of you, and thank you for being part of it. So 30K onward and upward. Now we're looking for 40. So tell your friends, make sure if you're not a subscriber, hit the button. What are you waiting for? It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Be part of the club, man. Be part of the RCVR crew. It's all good. So thank you guys for being part of the journey. I do appreciate each and every one of you in your own way. Okay. Next up, the charger drama. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the charger drama. The first thing I'll do is tell you that I did gut my box and all the B6s are out. And I do have the one remaining B6 left, and it's sitting in my drawer, and I do, take it out from time to time to do stuff on the desk or whatever. But what the ongoing drama is, and I didn't agree to any NDAs, but I do want to tell you guys that SkyRC reached out to me and they said, hey, we saw your videos. We saw your first one on our SkyRC is back. Thank you very much. Undoubtedly helped with our launch. And then we saw your second one on the 80% failure rate. And we just want you to know we take this stuff seriously. We'd like to maybe collaborate with you to make sure there's no misinformation going out. And let's see what we can do to resolve this. And my answer, personally, in my head, I said, there is no misinformation, right? Everything that I show was shown on video, right? It was not, I'm not making anything up, and it's not like I don't know how to use a charger. Okay. So, but that's not how I replied. What I replied in the spirit of extending the olive branch. And I said, okay, sounds good. I'd like to help. I'd like to work with you. What do you propose as next steps? That was like a week and a half ago, maybe a week ago. No response since then. So I don't know if they're serious or not. And I want to tell you guys another thing too, because here's the deal. I like Race Day Quads. I love, you guys know I like Race Day Quads. I buy a lot of stuff from them. I think they've got great customer service. They generally have pretty good inventory, stock, and pricing. So I rely on Race Day Quads. They sent one of those emails, hey, you bought some B6 Neos. Would you like to do a review? I'm like, okay, since you asked. I went back to the website and left a review. And to my dismay, they have the JB video up saying, oh, look how cool this charger is. But they didn't put my video up. Nor did they put a link to my video, nor did they put my review that I left in the comments. So I'm a little disappointed in RDQ, to be honest with you, because while I understand they're in retail, they've got a job to do. I got to be honest with you guys. I told them in my comments in my email, hey, you should take this off your shelves, because I'm telling you right now, you're going to have an RMA disaster on your hands with these. And when I go back to their website, they're still there. They're still there for pre-order. However, I have noticed they haven't left a pre-order status yet. So I don't know if something's happening, but I did want to tell you guys, I am disappointed that I left an objective review with video evidence on my experience with the B6 Neo, and it got filtered. So, take that for what, take it with a grain of salt, take it for whatever it's worth to you. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think that was cool. If you ask me to do, I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything, but you sent me a message saying, hey, can you give us your opinion? And I said, okay. And then when I gave it, it got edited. It got deleted. It didn't get posted. I don't know. And that was done again, probably over a week ago. So I am disappointed. I got to be honest with you. I'm disappointed in that. I think if you're going to ask for my opinion, and I give it to you and I back it up with video evidence showing you the video proof of what happened. And by the way, I'm not a novice with this stuff. I touch a lot of hardware. I experiment a lot. You guys know that. I'm constantly testing stuff and working on, you guys know that. And so, I would understand if some guy came in and go, well, I applied 68 volts from my AC jack on my RV to the thing and it blew the screen right off the top. And I think I should get my money back. Okay, that's, what I mean? That's not what's going on here. And so I'm disappointed. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm done embellishing. So with that in mind, I did want to show you guys something. I'm going to pop up a video for you real quick. And that's on my field box. Here's the replacement. So hopefully you can see what's going on here. I have the volume turned down. I want to pause it right there. That little guy, I will put a link in the description for this, but you guys remember the B6 Neo had PD, and that's kind of cool. It can actually take PD in and be a charger. I thought that was kind of cool. And all I can say is that losing that, I was a little disappointed because I kind of like that. so I went out, and by the way, two different functions. This is PD out. The charger is PD in. But I got this thinking about power delivery and doing things like charging my radios, right? So if I'm at the field and I want to charge my radio, it'd be nice, or a GoPro or other things. It's kind of nice to have that PD capability. So I will put a link in the description for that little device. That's a new USB panel mount. You can also see at the top, it's got QC3 on the top and bottom, PD on the left, and a voltmeter right on the front screen. So it was only a few bucks. It wasn't very expensive. If you've got a field box, these are kind of nice. I will give more information about it over time. I've had it in there for a couple of days now. It's now been at the field and survived. So far, so good. That's all I can say. And the little button there on the side turns the display off. So if you don't want to see it, you don't have to watch it. Anyway, if you have a field box and you're interested in that type of stuff, I will put a link in the description after the video is over. So I have a new USB charger in the box. The next thing I wanted to show you are the iCharger X6s. Now, I got to tell you, we're going to have a little talk. we're going to have a little talk because when I posted the B6 Neo video, there were some other YouTubers that came in and they're like, yeah, holy crap, this is bad because it reflects poorly on us. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to reflect poorly on anybody except SkyRC. And I'm not even trying to dump on them. I'm just showing the truth. So there was this discussion that went on, and I wanted to have this point of clarification. And that's that when I took the B6 Neos out of the box and tested them on the bench, I connected them to power. I put a heavy load on them. I charge them at 200 watts. I do all the stuff that I expect the charger to do. Then sometimes with these chargers, they get thrown in a drawer. Sometimes they get put in a box. Sometimes they're given away. Sometimes I put them into use. And the point of the matter is that if, as a YouTuber, you go through all this hardware, if you take the hardware and put it in production, then it is incumbent as a YouTuber on that YouTuber to come back and say at some point, hey, I had a good thing happen or I had a bad thing happen. So if something not great happened, you really should talk about it. All right. That's only fair. But the point I'm trying to get across here is that out of the box, you have these things called a first look, right? You evaluate it, you look at it, you test it, and you're like, okay, I've loaded it up, it seems to work. But then, in production, they fail. That's when you're kind of obligated to say something. I wouldn't have any respect for a YouTube channel who didn't do that. So if I have a problem downstream, especially after I said it was good, and then I discovered a problem later on, I would have no respect for myself if I didn't tell you guys that. But if everything is status quo and it seems to be behaving okay, then you may not get a follow-up video, right? That's just all there is to it. And I can tell you, I've got chargers from Toolkit RC, like the M9. It sits on my desk. I use it pretty much every day. The Toolkit P200, that was a nice little power supply. I used it all the time. I never had any issues with it. I wound up either giving it away or selling it to Dave. I don't remember. But the only reason I did it is because I just wanted more amperage. That wasn't, but that wasn't a problem with the P200. That's just because my needs changed. That's it. So that's where I wanted to get to on the charger thing, is that when I do a first look video, I'm showing you the truth and it's on video. So if you want to argue, you can argue with the video. But afterwards, things can fail. It does happen. That's the responsibility at that point of the YouTuber to come back in and say, hey, I want you guys to be aware. I said this worked great. And then here I am a couple weeks later. Here's what I saw. And just be truthful. That's all we can ask. And that is my promise to you. I want you guys to know that. If I conduct a review and I see something you should be aware of, you can count on one thing. If nothing else, I will make you aware of it. Okay. I just promise you that. Okay. So let's get back to the video on the field box. There's the USB charger and the X6s. So I told you I got a little PTSD on the chargers. So what I will tell you is I went out and got, obviously, as you can see, I got some iCharger X6s. I resisted doing that for quite a long time because of the size and the money. They're not cheap. They're like $100. I'm getting these little ones for $35, $40, but I got to be honest with you. one of my best friends in my entire life, his name was Eric. He used to say to me, buy the best, cry once. And boy, oh boy, did Eric's wisdom show through on my little charger drama, because I avoided buying these chargers because they were $100. And I just avoided it. I was trying to look for a cheaper solution that would do a functionally the same thing. All I can tell you, and I'm telling you guys right now, I've got PTSD when it comes to the chargers. All I can tell you is I've been using these chargers for about a week. I had a fly day at the field with them today. I think I had a fly day at the field last week. Yes, I did. I had a fly day at the field last week with them. And so far, they've been flawless. They've been flawless. The fans work, no grindy noise. The calibration on the X6, spectacularly good. Not perfect. I did wind up calibrating them a little bit, but very, very, very close. So superb charger so far. All I can say is that I've made the investment to rewire everything, and you'll see that. I'll let the video go a little bit. I did have to rewire everything. Notice the panel mounts for my XT60s. I had to put those in. I had to run wires differently underneath. It was an effort. You know, I'm not going to lie. That's another reason I avoided them, is because their wiring is on the wrong side for the way my box was laid out. So I actually had to go in and rearrange my wiring on the box. That's another reason I avoided them, because I was lazy. I didn't want to do the work. But so far, I got to tell you, right now, these things have impressed me a lot. One of the main things I love about it, and I'll be talking a little bit more and probably sharing with you guys my concept of a capacitive input source. One thing I really like about them is when I'm done with the battery, I can regen dump into the battery input. And that means that the field, I can discharge a battery at 10 amps. Just dump it right back into another battery, which is very cool. So far, thoroughly enjoying the iCharger X6 so far. Okay. But anyway, it's been good. I did print a couple of little cradles to work in my box. And I also wanted to point out, because people ask about the ventilation. I did this shot just so you can see the ventilation. It does go side to side on this one. It doesn't come out of the bottom, and the fans blow right over there. And boy, the air coming out is pretty warm. I'm not going to lie. But these are 800 watt chargers. They take up to 32 volts in. And the regen discharge has been fantastic on these so far. So right now, very happy with the X6s, but we'll see. And I promise you guys, if there's a problem, I'm going to let you know. Okay. I will come back and tell you. And again, you have my commitment. I'm just going to make that promise to you all tonight. If I see something, now I don't count stuff that John screws up. If I, for example, we'll talk about the M4 helicopter in a little bit. If I fly that and I crash it because I'm stupid, that's my problem, right? That doesn't get blamed on the product. But if I see something that you should be aware of, I can guarantee you will hear it. Okay. So iCharger X6s so far have been superb. And I'm hoping, I'm praying that I can get over my PTSD with chargers. I need this to be over. I am done messing around with chargers. So I will tell you guys, calibration was excellent, but don't forget, calibrate them anyway. Check it, just check it. All right, I'm going to pause there before we move on to the next subject and check comments, and we'll see what's going on. So let's see. What's the best receiver? Got that. Robert says Eagle Tree, best out there. Yeah, Eagle Trees are excellent. I'm so sad that they shut down, man. I loved the Eagle Tree Vector. No question. They were very good. Bradley says, I'll join Patreon this month. Subscribe soon as I watch your stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, I appreciate you, Bradley. Thank you very much. Robert says crickets. Yeah, right. Crickets on the video, right, Robert? On the review. Yeah. Kind of sad about that. Brett says vendors can decide not to take good advice. That's on them. They may also heard from manufacturers a change in the build too. That would negate the concern. If the manufacturers come out and say, hey, we got a problem with our fans, we're going to change them. Yeah. But take it down or put a note up or something. Say, hey, this is what I'm talking about. In my mind, the good vendor would say, hey, our Sky R6 B6 Neo orders are going to be delayed for all you people who pre-order because they're going to make a hardware change. Okay. that's cool. Communicate with me. I could live with that. So if that were going on, fine. Maybe B6, maybe Sky RC is going to do something. Maybe they'll send me a stack of them. I don't know. But I'll tell you another thing on that topic that I kind of wish SkyRC would have done was I wish they would have said, hey, how much did you pay for those? We're just going to send you your money for those, right? They should have done that because I laid out my cash for that stuff and they're terrible. So I think that they should have reimbursed, but whatever, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. Midwest RC says my charger case worked amazing at the field today. Cool, man. Yeah, Tim's got his. He's put that on Discord. Get on Discord. The mods will post the link to Discord, but get on Discord, man. You guys are missing out if you're not hanging out with us on Discord. It's such a great community. And I know Tim was working on his charger box and he couldn't, he had an issue with his XT mounts. So I sent him a 3D printed version, STL. He downloaded it and now he's got XT60 panel mounts that match the rest of his box. You guys are missing out if you're not on Discord. I'm just telling you. I know the mods will post it. Post the link, guys. Put the Discord link in there. Let's see. Tim Bothruster, Afterburn. Hey, RC Reviews. How you doing, man? Glad you can make it. Bradley says, is M8S good for charging? I'm getting it for testing servos, maybe, probably. You know, the problem I have with Toolkit, and let's see. I think the answer that I'm going to give you on Toolkit is that I know they're using the ADC in the STM32, which is known to drift. And I saw that on my Toolkit stuff. You really got to have a dedicated ADC, and they don't have that. So they can charge, but all I can say, Bradley, is keep your calibration up, right? Just keep checking your calibration. That's all I'd say. But as far as the charger goes, they are excellent. And the Toolkit MC software suite is really good. The Toolkit RC software suite on their stuff, I love it. I use it all the time. So I have a Toolkit M9 on my desk. That's the charger I have on my desk. So when I need something on my desk, the Toolkit M9 gets the nod. Let's see. Timbo Thruster. I'm going to go with Timbo Thruster. Let me know if I got that right. I have the X2 Black Edition High-Tech. Nice. Very nice. Jeff H says, any chance you might do an update video on your charging station? It looks so cool. Yeah, I could, Jeff. I got to tell you, though, Jeff, especially for you specifically, because I know who you are, I'm not going to show the insides because while it is a rat's nest, it's my rat's nest. I am not like a structured cable guy, so I don't want to show my wiring inside because I did my best, but you know, and it works. Everything's secure, doesn't move around. I've been using this charging box for 3 years and it's great. But I'm not going to show the inside, but I could do an update on the box. I could do that. Robert says, I think the X6 looks like an all around beefier charger. Yeah, I think so. They're definitely a little taller. Very, very thorough configuration options. And it is a little kludgy. I think Spin Launch Glide mentioned it in one of the comments. He said, once you kind of get over that, you know, the navigation methods on that charger, it takes a little while to get used to it. But once you get over it, they're pretty good. And I think he was spot on the money with that comment because it is definitely a little unusual coming from some of the other stuff that I've been using for a while. But once you kind of understand where things are and how it works, it's not that hard to navigate. And very, very thorough configuration options on the iCharger X6. No doubt about it. No doubt. I would encourage you guys, you know, if you haven't seen one, check one out. I mean, they're a little spendy, but and again, jury's out. All I can say is I've got 1 week of experience. That's all I've got. So if I learn anything good or bad, I'll share it. So let's see. Robert posted a link to Discord. Let's see. Thanks, Robert. Thought they'd be good. Yeah, they are good. So buy a badass motor and cry once. Yeah. That's kind of it. You David Knutz, you got to buy the best cry once. Man, that's just kind of the way it is, I think. Jeff H says, I'll bet my rat's nest beats yours. Somehow I doubt that. I'm sure you've got zip ties lined up all over the place. Here's like my attempt at trying to be clean with my wiring. And by the way, this used to be a lot better, but I've had this thing apart 3 times because I've been stupid with it and applying the wrong voltage to my servos. So I've had this apart 3 times, but I can actually do better than that. I actually used to have them all lined up nice and neat. It seems like anytime I do the wiring really neat, I got to take it apart. If I just slop it together and put a couple zip ties on there, it works forever. Isn't that always the way? It's weird like that. Don't forget my Etsy store. Go get an RCVR too. They're awesome. All right, let's see. Lol, I showed up my skirt. Yeah. Tim actually did a nice job with wiring on his box. I saw it. He made an effort. It looked good. Bradley says, cheers. Always check batteries after charging. It's a good practice. Yeah. And by the way, the X6, that's another thing. It's got the balance function right on it. So when you're done, if you plug it in, you see something you don't like, you say, hey, balance that for me. And it balances. It's really good. I really like them. Rat's Nest reveal is a Patreon perk. Okay. If you guys are on Patreon, you want to see the Rat's Nest, I will do that for the patrons because I know you guys aren't going to bust my stones about it too hard, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I did the best I could. Okay. Don't judge me. It's been working for 3 years. So if you don't like it, that's too bad. Spin Launch Glide says also for the X6, I make a bank save profile for each time. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I did that too. I did it based on the amperage. So yeah, it does work. Absolutely. Yeah, much faster. You don't have to do it for the voltage, just the amperage. And that's the quick thing that I figured out. And another thing on the X6 that I really like, if you have two chargers, do all your work on one, get it all set up the way you want it, and you can save your settings to an SD card and drop it in the other one and restore. The other one's a mirror copy. Very cool functionality on the X6. I really, really do like that stuff. It's really, really good. So very good stuff. Okay. As long as it works, that's my story. I know. You just got to have the voltage locked down and secure. That's all. All right, let's see. That is it for that topic. We're on. So charger drama, hopefully over. By the way, we had a little conversation on Discord and Tim was asking questions about power and voltage and all that stuff. And I got to thinking about it and Rob called us all girly men for not charging at 2C. So I did do an upgrade. I put a 600 watt, 25 amp power supply in my box. So now I can charge all my 6L 5000s. And I even put a picture of it in Discord today. I was charging two 6S 5000s at 2C simultaneously. That's 10 amps on both chargers. My power supply delivered the 20 amps, no problem. So I really like it. I mean, it's a pretty competent little arrangement that I've got going on that box right now. And I do enjoy it. Very, very, very strong box. Don't say it, Fred. Is Fred here? I'm hoping he doesn't say it. Don't even say it, Fred. All right, let's see. As long as it works, that's my story. And this is the flux capacitor. Yeah, the flux capacitor. Yeah, that's right. The box is my flux capacitor, man. I love it. Okay, I think that's it for that subject. Let's move on. Electronics. Oh, I got some cool stuff. I got to put these in the description. I didn't have time ahead of the video to do it for you, but I did want to show you guys some cool little goodies that I found. And I think, let's see. Timbo Thruster says, I was thinking about getting the Spectrum. Oh, isn't that word on the filter list? The moderators are going to get you for that one. But realize you couldn't get the Advantage without the smart batteries. Yeah, I know. To me, I consider these batteries consumable, and I'm not going to pay a premium for the smart chip. So any smarts I have, they come externally, like in my head. So what battery do you have in the box, though? Are you running from shore power at the field? A couple of different options. Depends on the field. I'm working on a capacitor system right now. Hold on. Let me get it for you. Okay. So I've got it. Let's go ahead. It's a good question. You guys are asking good questions tonight. So let me show you what I've got going on. Now, what I've done is I've got two old jet batteries. These are for when I originally bought my BAE Hawk. They are 6L 5000s. You can see they're a little bit puffy, but they're still fine. IR is kind of low. So what I've done is I've connected them in parallel and then put a down converter on. And these are what I'm doing is I use a Y cable and I plug a Y cable into this lead. One of the Y cables goes into my box. One of them goes into the DC station at the field. And the one that goes into the DC station at the field is actually connected to a charger. So I have a charger in line and then the charger connects to the DC station. Now here's what I'm doing. I'm setting my charger to feed. I'm going to call these my capacitor batteries. Okay. I'm using a charger and I'm feeding 4 amps into this battery and there's balance leads connected. Okay. So feeding 4 amps into the battery and then off the Y that goes into the box. Now what's going on here is that my box is pulling off my capacitor battery. And remember, these are 6L 5000s and they are 30C. So I can do 150 amps. Even at 20C, that's still 100 amps. Okay. And I only need 20 at a time. So more than enough amperage capacity to use these as the capacitor or accumulator bank that feeds my box. And then while that's going on, the DC station at the field is feeding my chargers. Now you might say, why in the hell are you going through all that? Our field uses a 12-volt system. So when Dave and I are there and I put two 6L5000s on my box and Dave puts a couple on his, and then Freddie shows up and hits it with the, his Spectre batteries, our voltage on our bench power supply, our battery bank at the field sags, and we're getting low voltage alerts. That's what's going on. So my answer to that is to use a capacitor system where these can charge my stuff and keep my voltage constant into my box. So my batteries will charge, and I'm only pulling one single 4-amp pull off the rail. And so yes, these will decrease over time while I'm charging. But when I'm done charging, my charger tops these back up. And it actually works. I've done it. I've been testing it. It actually works really quite well. And just make sure you connect the balance lead so you can stop. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to use a dual port charger like an M6D. That way you can connect both your balance leads, both of your power leads, and you're happy. Your batteries are going to be very happy. Of course, if you do that, then you need 2 Ys into 1. So a little bit more confusing, but you can do it. So that's what I've been doing, and it actually has been very functional. And now tomorrow will be the real test. Dave and I are flying tomorrow. I'm gonna knock the dirt off the amp pull. I'm gonna hit these hard, and I'm gonna ask Dave to hit it pretty hard too. And I'm gonna see how well these perform during the day while I'm running that test. And again, to me, these are consumable. I don't fly with these anymore, but they'll serve a purpose, right? Because I've got 10,000 milliamps. I can deliver 120 amps, and it does work. I've tried it. It works. So that's the new strategy. So thanks for asking the question. That is the question for DC. Now, at SES, we have AC 110 volt AC. So when I do that, my box is equipped to do both DC and AC input, and I have it on a switch. So if I'm at a field where I've got 110 volt AC, I just plug it into the AC, hit the switch, and then I've got the 24 volt, 600 watt, 25 amp power supply that fed with AC and outputs DC. So that works too. So if I'm at a field with DC capacitor system, and that goes into the charge, the DC rail at the club. And then if I'm at a club with AC, I can do that too. So that's it. Midwest RC, Tim says, got to say thanks for saving my back from the 47 amp brick. Yeah. Tim knows, man. We were talking about, he had some big power supply, like HP server power supplies. And we talked a little bit about it and got to spend some time talking, and it all worked out. He got himself the right size power supply, right? Good job, Tim. Let's see. Robert says, I was going to time him out the minute he said it, but I'm giving him a chance. Okay. I don't know. Which one are you talking about? Oh, Spectrum. Yeah. Okay. Brett Pounce is right. Dealing with peak load from batteries plus what the field can give. Yeah. So my capacitor bank gives me my peak, right? It handles, right? It just delivers what my box wants. And I think Fred's not here. So I just said it delivers what my box wants, and I'm just waiting for Fred to wake up. Fred, he's not here. Where is he? I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting. All right, let's see. Tease HQ, hi from Ireland. Love your content. Well, thanks. Welcome from Florida. Mark Drury says, man, you guys in America have such good facilities at your flying fields. Nothing here in the UK. Well, hey, man, try out what I'm working on. And by the way, Dave's going to try some stuff with solar. But yeah, I'm also asking the club. I have asked the club to upgrade our system to 24 volts. I mean, when you're flying these big batteries, man, you need voltage. You need voltage and current carrying capacity. All right, let's see. That was it on the battery thing. I wanted to show you. Links will be in the description when this is all done. But I wanted to show you guys a couple things I've been working on. This one, I was out working on my I don't know what the hell I was working on. I was working on something electrical the other day. And while I was working on my something electrical the other day, I couldn't see my fluke meter. And you guys know I love my fluke, man. I love that fluke. But this, I went out, I just got on Amazon. You know how Amazon does a feed. And oh, that was another problem. I don't have any way on my Fluke to measure current. So I thought, you know, I couldn't see the screen. I went out and I looked. I said, I want a big digital screen and I want the ability to measure current. And I found this KM601. I will put a link in the description, affiliate link. So don't go buy it yet. Wait for me to get the affiliate link and help a brother out. But I bought this one and I am not an electrician. I'm not even going to pretend to be one. So all of the different things this does, whatever. But it's got it's got all these functions. You can do volts, AC, DC, capacitance, diode checks. You can check your capacitors, your current, millivolts, millivolt current checks, duty cycle, temperature. It actually comes with a thermistor, so you can use a thermistor if you want. It's got this NCV live, which I think stands for non-conductive voltage. Is that what that means? You electricians out there, come on, help a brother out. I'm trying to figure out how I change the thing. See, I haven't spent much time with it yet. What is going on here? I'm just going to unplug these. I want to change. There it goes. There we go. There we go. NCV live. That's non-conductive voltage, right? And let me see if I can get something. Yeah. I held it up there and I got this beep, 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 beep. But you can check your voltage on a wire with this without touching anything. And then, oh, it's got this little flashlight. So that's kind of cool. It's handy, right? You can aim a flashlight at it. This is called a Kaiweets KM601. Again, I got it because I was, oh, that's another thing. If you change between voltage and current, let me see if I can get it to do that again. Let me show you guys real quick. You see the little lights down here? If you switch between voltage and current, it blinks and says, hey, connect here. If you're doing milliamps, connect these two. And then if you're doing amps, up to 10 amps, connect these two. I thought that was really cool. That's kind of neat. So, and then you can switch back, of course, to voltage. Now, I told you I'm not an electrician. I do not pretend to be an electrician. I know basics, right? I know basics, but you got to have a voltmeter to check stuff. I thought I would show you real quick. I've got my desktop power supply set right now at 24 volts. I did watch some videos on this device, and the guys who are electricians, they went through, you know, the videos I watched are doing all these capacitance tests, and one guy loaded it up with a $10,000 calibration tool, and you know, he showed his being off just a little bit. Right now, I've got my benchtop supply at 24 volts, and I'm seeing 23.96. I really kind of need a Fluke. I kind of need to get my Fluke on and see which one's closer. But the bottom line was that when I was looking at the videos, the electricians, I'm not an electrician, all right, but the electricians who evaluate this stuff, their answer was, yeah, it's pretty accurate, pretty decent. And I thought, for what's really cool about it is that when you set it down, it actually, when you look at it like this, when you hold it up, the screen is a little dimmer. When you lay it down on the table and look at it, it gets brighter. So it's designed to lay down flat on the table and let you see the screen brightly. And I thought that was actually really cool. The one thing I don't like about it, there's no kickstand on it. No kickstand. And then the other cool thing about it, AAA batteries. All these friggin' voltmeters use 9 volts. And, well, you know, I keep some around. I always have AAAs, man. I always have AAAs. So I just wanted to share this with you. KM601. Tim asked a question. Hold on one second. I had to get my probes loose from the alligator clips. Tim asked a question about whether or not the cables were bendy. They're not like high grade silicone model wire on the leads, but they're not. He said a 70-year-old with the blue pill. They're not that, you know, they're okay. But with that said, I did actually order myself another set of leads because I want the ones with the clips, because I'm forever connecting to bare end wires. So I did order a set of those. They'll be on the way. But anyway, the leads that come with it are fine. They do the job. And I really like the screen because very easy to see. And when you put it on auto mode, you know, it'll do continuity tests. If you want to pop it in, that was a continuity test. You guys see the green light there and it's beeping. So there's a continuity test. And then if you want, you can stick the probes in your battery and it'll give you a look at what's going on your voltage. There's 15.18 and that's probably pretty close. Anyway, Kaiweets KM601. I got it on Amazon. It was like $40. So I thought pretty good. Nice little extra piece to have on the bench. And I thought I'd give you a look at that. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you, this is another little goodie. Again, I'll put a link in the video in the description for this. And that is a USB meter. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these before, but they're actually pretty cool. So let me go through this little environment that I've got here. I've got a GoPro so I can create a load. That's plugged in with USB-C right here. The other end of that wire is right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug a battery into this XT60 to USB converter. That's right there. That's plugged in. Now, I just saw that bend. I hope I didn't break it. Now I'm going to plug in my little meter. And okay, it still works. Got the little welcome screen, and I'll zoom in a little so you guys can see this here. Okay, and now I'm just going to take my little USB connector here and plug it in. And what's nice about this is you get the voltage reading and the amperage reading based on the device that you plugged in. So this is the device that the GoPro's charging, and it's taking about 0.2 amps. And it's just an inline USB checker. This particular version also does Type-C in and out, and it has micro USB in, and you have a couple of different buttons that you can press. So I'll just show you these buttons real quick. If you press next, you get a, what happened there? That looks like a second screen. I'll hit next again. That gives you your milliamps in and your watt hours in. And then this one shows you which rail is active and what kind of power it's drawing. So 5 volts at 0.12 amps. This is a cool little voltage graph. It kind of shows you where your voltage is on your USB. And then the next one is the amperage graph. So you can see we're hitting about 0.2 amps. So a little amperage histogram there. That's actually kind of cool. And then this one is the configuration page where you can set your brightness and your temperature units. And then you can turn the screen off if you don't want to see it. And then you can turn it back on. So cool little device. It's very handy if you want to see what's going on with your stuff. And by the way, you know, it also, I can plug in a Radiomaster TX16S. I don't think that this device is PD capable. So I know the Radiomaster, or sorry, QC3. I know the Radiomaster will do a higher profile than this. I've seen it. For sure. Like when I plug it into a different analyzer, I'll see QC3 show up. I don't see that on this one. So kind of a low amp draw on this one. But anyway, it's just an interesting little tool. I'll put a link in the description for one of these as well. It's a USB analyzer in case you want to see what's going on your USB charge circuits when you're charging stuff via USB. It's kind of handy to have. Just a little, you know, electronic gadgets that I thought you guys would be interested in seeing. And I actually, you know, I put a little Velcro on this. These two stay in my field box. You know, these two devices, they both have Velcro. They stay right in my field box. And if I'm trying to charge something and it's not working, or it seems like the battery is not going, I put these types of devices on there just to see what the heck is going on. In fact, my wife bought a new car, and when she got her new car, we connected her phone, and it has this Apple CarPlay, and she wasn't able to charge her phone while she was using the car, and it was draining her phone. She's like, what the heck is going on? It's plugged in. This is nonsense. I got this device out and I plugged it in, and it turns out there was no amp draw there was no amperage going through the device at all. So I said, well, let's try some different cables. I got a handful of different USB cables, and sure enough, we found one that worked. So I don't know if it's a function of the car. Clearly it's not the phone. So it had to do something with the car or the cable. But, you know, these are the types of tools you can use to troubleshoot problems like that. And without it, I would have just assumed, well, maybe your car just doesn't put enough out in the USB port. I mean, who would have thought, you know, a bad cable, if it works, it works, right? Isn't that, you know, I mean, if it works, it works. It shouldn't stop the current from flowing. I just thought it was kind of strange. But anyway, they're handy little tools. Again, I'll put links in the description after the video's over so you guys can see those. All right, next up, I'm going to check comments, and then we're going to move into the next one. Maintenance. Man, I told you we had some stuff to cover tonight. What battery do you have in the box, though? Are you running from short? Okay, we covered that. Got to say thanks. Yep, got that. Right, dealing with peak load. Okay, hi from Ireland. Got that. Man, you guys in America, you're getting old. Your eyes are going. Dude, don't tell me. Look, I'm wearing these things during a pilot jam. Give me a break. Timbo Thruster says, I sub. Way to go, man. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate the sub. Robert says, you keep bringing things out, John. You're going to be putting stuff in the link for the rest of the night. I know. JSC says, hey, everyone. How you doing, man? Glad you can make it. I like the idea of that USB power. Yeah. And they have all kinds of them, too. I'll put the link for this one in, but check them out. They have different options. So this is just one of them. I thought, price, performance, screen was okay. All right. Never caught a stream before. Nice to be here. Well, glad you could make it. Very good. All right. Next up is maintenance. I just wanted to spend just a minute talking about maintenance. And the reason for that is because Fred and I were flying today, and he got his M2 Evo out, and he was in the middle of a flight and it crashed. And I was watching, I said, Fred, what happened? He said, I don't know. And he went out and looked. And when he looked, he found one of the linkages between the swash plate and the blade grip had broke. Now we assume that it broke in flight, not on the ground. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up on maintenance was Hobie. Shane took home my Skywing Edge 540, the gold one. And after the last time I flew that plane, I came home and I kind of went through the plane a little bit, and I noticed my motor was loose. So my motor was loose. I'm like, what the heck? So I ended up taking apart half the plane. I took the cowl, the prop, the spinner, the prop, the cowl, and I definitely found a couple loose screws on my motor. And it is a metallic, it's a metal mount, right? It's those Blazing Star standoffs. And when I took it out, what I found out was I didn't do Loctite. So my fault, for being stupid. I didn't do Loctite, should have done Loctite, and I didn't. There was no Loctite on those screws. And that brings me to the point on maintenance. And the reason I'm talking about this tonight is because when you're out flying real aircraft, full-size aircraft, there's a schedule for just about all of them that'll say for every hour of flight time, you need 2 hours of maintenance. It's certainly true for military aircraft. And I can tell you guys that radio control is no different. It's real easy to go out there and fly stuff and fly. And then when you're done, you're like, nah, I'm done. Put it on the rack. I'll go in and do the next thing, right? And what I wanted to do is encourage you guys to fold some maintenance activities into your flying. And the reason I'm encouraging you to do that is because if you take a little time, and I know this is boring. I know some of you guys are like, your eyes are rolling in the back of your head right now going, oh my gosh, is he talking about maintenance right now? But the reason for it is because I've got some experience flying planes, and I've actually got experience flying full-size planes and as a crewman in military craft. And I got to tell you, after doing an inspection on my Edge 540 and then curing what was wrong, I've made it a point to go back and look for trouble, right? And I think the reason I'm bringing this up is to help you save some money, because if you find that trouble while you're flying, it's generally not good. It's generally not a good thing. But if you find it while you're on the ground, you can remedy before you fly, and hopefully you save your model, right? So I just wanted to spend a brief moment on the subject of maintenance to encourage you guys, get out there, check your models over from time to time. If you bring one out and you fly it a lot, look it over, man. Check those servo screws, check your landing gear, check your ESC wires into your motor. Make sure they're still zip tied, right? Make sure that your battery leads are not frayed. Take the cowl off, take a look at the motor mounts, and make sure you're not seeing unusual wear and tear or fraying or charred lines on the motor. I've had that happen. My Smooth, I was flying the Smooth, and when I was up flying, I heard the motor start doing this crazy pulsing. I landed, and on further inspection, I saw inside the motor, I had burned one of the copper lines inside the motor. It burned, and that was causing shorts, and the motor was trashed. Basically, it had to be rewound. So I'm bringing this up mainly as a public service announcement, and it's one of those topics. It's like, I feel like your dad right now, like, take your medicine, kids, but you got to do it, man. You got to do the maintenance, because that's part of aviation. And I'm telling you right now, if you spend a little, what's that old saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So spend a little time on maintenance. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not fun. It can be tedious. I know. I get it. But that's part of the responsibility of aviation in the first place, is doing the maintenance. And it's true on full-size planes and military. Maintenance is a real deal. It's a very structured world out there in aviation. It should apply to your models as well. Let's see. Never caught a stream. Okay, not all cables are created equal. That is true. I guess not, Four Eyes. I couldn't understand it, man. I never saw anything like that before. Victor says hi from Jacksonville. Hey, Victor, how you doing, man? You're not too far away. You need to come to the RCVR flying. You're local. Bradley says you really take this stuff to the next level. I try, man. I try and give you guys your money's worth. That's for sure. Victor, thanks for the tip jar, man. I appreciate it. Florida boy hits tip jar. Robert says, funny you brought this up. I'm replacing the C-clip on it. There you go, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A C-clip, right? Who would have thought a C-clip? Like, you got to go looking for that kind of trouble. Right? Because I know how Robert found that. He pulled on the damn motor. That's how he did it. He had to pull on it. That's how you find it. Felt loose last time I flew it. I left a note in the fuselage about it from last year. Yep. You got to do the maintenance, guys. Yeah, don't just check the control direction. Check the linkages. I found an aileron linkage had broken the pin off. Yes, there you go. Broke a pin off the other side and would have caused a problem had I flown. Yep, 100%, man. After every maiden, and Freddie, I'm surprised Fred's not here, but Freddie and Dave can attest to this. When I do a maiden, I tell you guys, look, I don't get up and mess around with maidens. I fly the maiden. I make sure the aircraft is trimmed and flying straight and square. Not perfect, but it's flyable. And then I land the plane. And, I know, here's the deal. When I land those planes on those maidens, I get people to come in and are like, man, do a full send. It's a 3D. That thing's got balls. You should send it. Like, okay, I know all that. But when I'm doing a maiden, I don't do the full send. And the one freaking time I did, it cost me the plane. You guys watch the laser go in, right? So my process after a maiden, I get it up in the air, fly it around, I trim it for level, I listen to it, I do some maneuvers, I do my upline test, I do my yaw test, I do a couple rolls, some stalls, some approaches, and then I get it on the ground. But then I walk over to the plane when I have a moment. I put everything down, I decompress a little bit, talk to the boys, have a little fun. But then I go over and inspect the freaking plane. I pull on the servo arms. I check the servo screws. I put a screw on them and check. I check the linkages. I make sure if I'm using quick disconnects that they're all on the correct way. If I'm using the quick connectors for a control arm or a push rod, I make sure they're still secure. I make sure the horns, I try and pull the horns out of the control. Not brutally, like I don't monkey fist it. I'm not trying to rip it out, but if it's loose, I want to know. So, I check the horizontal stabilizer, make sure it's in there nice and firm. I check that there's no slop in the wings. I look at my servos, my motors, my ESC, my battery straps. You do the inspection. Then after you've done it and you've flown it and you do the inspection, then you go fly, right? And then you go have a little fun because now you have proven that it's no longer a model. It's an airplane because you flew it and you trimmed it and you understand how it's performing in the sky. Then you got it on the ground. You verified everything was tight and secure. You didn't miss anything. Now you're ready to go out and fly and have some fun. And I got to tell you guys, when I follow that procedure, oh, by the way, one other thing that I do now, although I really don't think I have to out of all the RF tech I've ever used, now I feel like I have to do that less than anything else. But now I also check my telemetry performance on my radio system, which is now all Express LRS. I do look, especially after a maiden, because you do have this concept of infant mortality. It is possible that while I know, for example, that the ER6 and the EPW6 from Happy Model are excellent, I know that because I've tested them. You still have this concept of infant mortality. It can happen, right? Something could be bad. So I do check my data. I check the radio. I look at the telemetry, see how my T-power did, see how my RQLY did. And that's another thing I'll check before I fly it for a second time. Okay. So that's it on the maintenance. I just wanted to give that one to you guys because I know it's a boring subject, but I think at the end of the day, if you do your maintenance, you'll be a much happier person. I'm going to tell you something else, man. I've gone to the field so many times and watched so many guys put in so many planes in the dirt. And they come out. They're like, you ask what happened? I don't know. Well, you walk over and look and you say, let me see your ailerons, turn right. And they turn right and the ailerons are left. Okay, well, that's maintenance. You did something, you set up, you did it wrong. You didn't, you didn't connect it right. You didn't do a proper pre-flight. I consider that a maintenance check. You got to verify these things when you make those connections. So that's that. It happens. It happens. And by the way, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying it happens, right? And you can avoid, save your money, save your plane by doing the work. That's all I'm getting at. All right, let's see. Check foam hinges. Yes, there's another one. EQ, RC. Definitely look at those EPO hinges. In fact, over time, I recommend that normally on EPO planes is to change those hinges out, cut them, clean the lines, slot them, and then glue them in with some proper hinges. So David Canute says, after I made my F-35, I found that one of my elevator control horns is broken. May have happened when I ran it into the catch fence on landing. I'll do more investigating. But yeah, there you go. You got to do the inspections, man. You got to look. In the military, they had in the Navy, they have this role called plane captain. And even though I was an operator, I flew in the aircraft, they still asked me to become a plane captain. And the reason for that is because it helps you understand the maintenance procedures that are involved in an aircraft and what to look for. So when I was doing pre-flights, not only did I do pre-flights from an air crewman's point of view, I also did my pre-flights from a plane captain point of view. So how about maintenance on your radio batteries? Oh, Robert, thank you, man. Robert comes in for the save. Yeah, that's a really good one. I want to talk to you guys about that. Listen, I don't know. I'm not in a position. Whoops, a little too much zoom there. I'm not in a position to say what I know or don't know about the BMS or battery management system on the radio. What I can say is that on a lark, not too long ago, I took my battery out of my prior airplane radio, just oddly enough, and I put it on a charger. And when I put it on the charger, it was off by like 0.2 volts. It was off. So that's another one. Thanks, Robert, for reminding me, man. I appreciate you. Hey, Freddie finally made it. All the good jokes are over now, Fred. We had a whole bunch of rim shots in your honor, but you missed them. So anyway, take every now and then, listen to me, listen to my words, listen carefully. Is this on? You guys listening? Every now and then, I want you to turn your radio off. I want you to take this battery cover off and take your battery out of your radio. Okay. And I want you to put it on a proper charger. Okay. Once every couple of weeks. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Put it on a proper charger, balance it correctly. Make sure you got your balance leads on there. Put it on a charger you trust and do a proper balance charge on your flight batteries every now and then. That's a great one, Robert. What a fantastic way to end the segment on maintenance. Again, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I do know that the battery in question had probably been in the radio for 2 solid years and it was off. It was off. That's all I can say. Put it on a proper charger, balanced it right back up again. It's right back in business again. No problems. So, by the way, let me tell you, since you guys, I say this every now and then. I'm not crazy. My mom had me tested. Okay. Now here's why this came up. I now remember why I took the battery out. I took the battery out because one day I was going to go flying. I did what I always do. I plugged my radio in at the bottom. I charged it up overnight. And then I got up in the morning. I turned the radio on. I did a couple things. I was messing around with the radio for a minute and I noticed my battery gauge went down 1. It dropped, 1 like right away. And I thought, wait a minute. I just charged it. I've only been fiddling around with it for a minute. What the heck is going on here? Why did it drop like that? And then when I took it out of the radio, and when I took it out of the radio, I put it on a balance charger and I realized it was off. So one of the cells was already at like 3.9 right away. So that's why I lost a bar of voltage immediately. And ever since then, I've learned that if I do the work of every now and then taking them out of the battery, out of the radio and putting them on a balance charger, my power levels are much more predictable, right? That you can forecast what's going to happen. So Robert, thank you for bringing that up, my friend. Thank you. Glad you reminded me. Bradley Norton says, smart. T. Evans going to use that. What did T. Evans say? I missed it. I missed it. You're going to have to tell me what he said. Robert said he's only here because his ears are ringing so bad he couldn't sleep. Probably. He's probably taking a nap. Cobra FPV says, well, I got two 18650 connected in parallel. No balance needed. Okay, well, I don't know what kind of radio, but the TX16S needs, you have four 18650s in parallel, maybe two in parallel. I don't know. You need two cell on a TS16S, so it can't be in parallel. Anyway, can I get a channel? Sorry, gentlemen, a little late. Got a really nice pathogen for my lovely wife. How's that? Well, well, sorry to hear that, man. I hope it's over fast. So much sun today, says Freddie. Yeah, we got some sun. I went through mine, both my transmitters and my Zero, and they were all three off. Yeah. Take that stuff out from time to time, guys. Put it on a balance charger. All right, that wraps up maintenance. And Freddie's a helicopter guy. He knows all about the maintenance, man. You got to do the maintenance. All right, Q&A. Are we finally on Q&A? How about that? Let's see. We have to go here. And nope, we have to go here. There's the Q&A, and of course it's moved to the wrong spot. There we go. All right, Q&A is up next. All right, if you guys are not familiar with the channel, I like to do Q&A. I like to grab comments that I see in the comment section from the videos and talk about them, because I figure if somebody asks, then more than one person will ask. So let's see. G3, I got to rearrange this because I can't see a damn thing. Hold on. Just give me a second here. Let's just fix this up a little bit. There we go. One more center. There we go. Okay. So let's see. G33K Fly says this TX does more than $1,000 radios, and you have one of the best channels out there to help people navigate the possibilities with EdgeTX. Greatly appreciated. That's not a question. Who put that in here? I'm just kidding. Every now and then somebody wants to stroke my feathers a little bit. I'll take those. G33K Fly, best comment of the month. You win. Hands down. He wins. He's my favorite commenter today. The best channel. One of the best channels? One of the best channels? Maybe he's not my favorite. I don't know. Well, I'll think about it. I'm just kidding. I have a lot of fun. Meekum 1965. He's giving away his age there. He says, enjoying this kit. Great for setup testing. Thank you. You guys know what he's talking about, right? That's RCVR 2. Do you guys have an RCVR 2? On my Etsy store, $17.99 if you want one. I've sold quite a bit. People seem to like them. I think out of all the ones I've sold, I've had three reports of them being broken. If you guys get one and it's broke and not repairable and you need another one, you just let me know. I'll take care of you. Okay. It's, I use these padded envelopes. We do the best I can, but some people out there are a little aggressive and they break things. So, if they're going to be aggressive like that, then that's fine. Just let me know and I'll take care of you, man. It's fine. It's all good. Make sure you get yourself an RCVR too. Baby, open your door in your office, John, because if your head's swelling, you're going to run out of oxygen. Yeah, I got to get the fan turned on, Robert, and get some O2 pumped in here. Here's a fresh question. Radio Master PWM receivers are back stock in EU, so better buy some or wait until you really need some. Buy them, man. You got to put them in stock. You got to have a stash. Go get a couple. Get one or two, man. If you think you're going to need them, you better get them. I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. It's kind of like how I feel about my firearms. All right. Anyway, Meekum 1965. Glad you're enjoying your kit, man. Have fun with it. RCVR 2. It's in the Etsy store. Go get them. $17.99. Get one for your friend too. Get one for the club. All right. Tim says, dang, now I have more work to do. He's talking about the automate screen capture. I'm going to do one other thing on this because I told you guys if you wanted to ask about a model, I'll move the keyboard out of the way, get rid of all that junk. I'm zoomed out too far. But I'm going to just show you. Well, my battery's out. That's the problem. There's your problem. Got to plug the battery in. But I'll just plug that in and show you guys. I just want to show you. I don't just get on and flap my gam. I actually do this stuff. So I already showed you the 67-inch laser, right? You guys saw that one? Let's pick another one. Throttle's not. Okay, let's pick another model. Let's see. Which one? 60-inch laser maybe? No, not another laser. Let's look at the Game Bird. Double click on the Game Bird and I'll bring up the configuration. Let's zoom in a little so you can see. I just want you guys to see, man. I don't just tell you, hey, do this, and then I don't do it. I do it. You see it right there? It's right there. There it is. That's the screen logic right there on the Game Bird. I'll pick any other one you guys want to see. But there you go. They're there. I do it, man. So Tim, yeah, Tim says he's got more work to do. I understand, buddy. I'm with you. I did it. I took my medicine. I went through my radio and I inserted that logic into every single one of my planes. It is a cool little trick. All right. Dieter says, I really enjoy your outtakes. You guys know about the outtakes, right? I know some of you do. The guys have been around, the veterans, you guys know. Listen, one of the deals with YouTube, and I'm just going to appeal to your senses here. One of the deals with YouTube and the algorithm is that they give you better positioning if people watch the videos. And, you know, we put a lot of time into these things. I know you guys know that. But I would encourage you to watch the videos in their entirety, not just because it helps me, but every now and then I sneak these little Easter eggs in at the back end of the video. And I'm doing that to reward the people who watch the whole thing. So Dieter, he says, oh, I found your outtakes. So there are bloopers. A lot of videos get bloopers on the end, especially if we've got some good ones. So he says your presentation leaves one thinking that making videos is easy and your outtakes suggests it's really not. You guys have no idea how many hours of video footage gets left on the cutting room floor, especially with Fred there, because Fred and I tend to get a little animated and I try and keep the channel like, you know, PG-13 about the worst I get. I try and keep the channel. On Discord, we're a little more gruff, but, you know, for the channel, the public persona, you know, you try and keep it PG-13 because we have kids. You know, we have kids. I want to keep it kind of mild for them. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely not, man. We do a lot of cuts. There are a lot of cuts. A lot of editing goes on. So, Dieter, I do appreciate that comment. Yes, quite a lot of work goes into filming these, and the outtakes definitely, they expose the amount of times. I can't tell you, man, there's some scenes I've done 15 times and I still can't get it right. That's when the cursing starts. Anyway, thanks for the comment, Dieter. D Sampson says, looks like something I could do with a stock momentary switch already set up for timer reset and perhaps add the instant trim function, but I'm still on the latest version of OpenTX. Will this only work with EdgeTX? Thanks. I brought this one up, and the reason I brought it up is because one of the questions I see on a fairly regular basis has to do with, hey, I see you're doing this on EdgeTX, but will it work on OpenTX as well? And the thing I wanted to do is let you guys know that while EdgeTX has an amazing, stunning list of changes, the core functions between EdgeTX and OpenTX are generally the same. I'm not saying they're all the same. I'm not saying it's 100%. There are things you can do on Edge that you can't do on OpenTX, but the core functionality is the same. The inputs, the mixes, the outputs, the special functions, global functions, the logical switches, and many of the variables are the same. So what I would encourage you to do if you're on OpenTX and you watch a video, just go look inside OpenTX and see. You also might need to upgrade your version of OpenTX to the latest, okay? So just throwing that out there as well. Okay, number 6, great video. Thank you. A question, if I may. Sorry if you mentioned it. When a channel is assigned to a PWM output pin, the same channel is still sent to the S-Bus stream. It's not skipped. That's correct. That's correct. This is another one that I see a lot when we talk about S-Bus or serial streams and PWM. The answer is yes. If you have a serial stream and a PWM pin, the Express LRS processor will send the data out on both. So if you have channels 1 through 16 in an S-Bus stream, you can still see them on pins on PWM that are assigned. So that is a thing, and it's absolutely true. You can do that. So no problem. And one of the other recommendations I would make to you guys very strongly, get yourself one of those Toolkit MC8 battery checkers. They have an S-Bus checker. So if you're doing work in serial streams like S-Bus, get an S-Bus checker. It will make your life much happier, because nothing sucks more than trying to figure out why your flight computer doesn't work and not knowing if the flight computer is even seeing the S-Bus that you're sending to it. So get yourself a Toolkit MC8. It's got an S-Bus checker on it. Other toolkit devices do as well. I'm just saying the MCA is very handy. It's compact and cheap, 30, 40, 39 bucks, 35 bucks. And you've got an S-Bus meter. So highly recommend you get one of those. And then once you do, you can validate these things. Okay. Or get a toolkit and, toolkit charger like the MC9. Then you can set it on S-Bus and see all the channels and watch PWM. It's amazing. So try it out. All right. Question number 7. You see, I do these videos on these lasers, and Fast Freddy, even though he's on a spectacularly good diet and he's dropped all kinds of weight, his mind is on marshmallows. And I replied to him, see what I deal with? You see what I deal with? You see how they treat me? This is what I have to deal with you guys. Everyone's a comedian and they're all out of work, and somehow they find my channel, Fred. Anyway, oddly, it reflects the off-white stuff. Weirdly enough about lasers, if you try and cut stuff that's white, it bounces off. So you might need some of those flavored marshmallows. So Fred, go get yourself some pink ones or some purple ones, and you can probably cut those. But you're more likely to get a pinhole of heat over a roasted treat. And yes, I'm a poet. Right there. I did that just for Fred. That was for Fred. That was all for Freddie. All right. Donald says, mine also stopped work. Banggood refunded 100% of the money. Get rid of those B6 Neos, man. Send them back. Telling you, if you haven't crashed yet, you're gonna. Steve Shipley 4383. I watched this video over and over and migrated from OpenTX to Edge. When I boot up, Sarah says, well, okay. This is one of the ones that I wanted to talk about with you guys. So we are going to bring the big camera back, and I want to show you guys, because this is another one of these questions I get a lot. We're going to go into the File Explorer right on the radio. I want to show you guys these two questions because, okay, so the question has to do with, hey, when I convert, why do I have an OpenTX splash screen? And why does it say welcome to OpenTX? Okay. There are special files. I've actually covered this in a video, but let's start from the beginning. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning. We're going to click on the system button, and then I'm going to go to the file browser, and I'm going to go down to images. And in the images directory, there is one special image name. Does anyone know what it is before I get there? Anybody? Bueller? Is this thing on? Come on, you guys, hit me. You guys know. You have to scroll down, and you can put this on your radio yourself, but there's one special file name in here. I'm still waiting to see if anyone's going to say what it is. Maybe you're starting to catch it now. You see that one that says splash.png? You see that says Pilot John Hopke? Splash.png is the splash screen when you first turn on the radio. Okay, so see how that says splash.png? I'm going to turn my radio off. I'm going to turn the radio on. And when I turn the radio on, that's my splash screen. Okay, splash.png is the one that gets displayed when you first turn the radio on. That's one special file. That answers the first part of the question. The second part of the question is the audio. He said, why does it say welcome to OpenTX? If you click on sound and then EN and then system and then scroll down, does anybody know the name of this one? Anybody? Let's go. Come on. Let me have it. I'm going to scroll, waiting for you guys to give me the answers. Anybody know? It's called... Anybody? It's in this folder, right? Did I mess it up? I don't think I messed it up. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Here we go. Now we're getting there. A, B, C, D, F. Anybody? Right there. It's called hello.wave. They stole that from Windows, by the way, because that used to be the Windows chime. It was like hello.wave. Yeah, Darren got it. Darren Elhart. He said hello. It's a hello file, hello.wave. Change that, and you can delete it. If you delete it, it won't say anything at all. If you want to change it to, something nasty like Freddy's radio, you could do that. You can do whatever you want, but it's hello.wave, and it exists in, you see if, you know what, I'm not going to scroll through all that crap again. I'm just going to hit system, go back, and we're going to hit, it exists in sounds. It's in the sounds folder, EN system. Okay. It's called hello.wave. That's all you need to do. All right. So that's it. I just wanted to show you, those are two special files that I get that question so much. Splash.png in images and hello.wave in sounds EN system. Okay. All right. GitHub page is not opening. Where can I download this firmware? Okay. This question is about S-Bus in Express LRS. And the thing about it is S-Bus is now included in Express LRS 3.3 main version. You don't need to do anything special for S-Bus anymore. This is one of those, it's a new thing, it's a new feature, and I do see this question a lot, man. People ask all the time, hey, is S-Bus supported? What do I have to do? How do I compile it? They find this video, they're trying to compile experimental firmware. You don't have to do all that. It's in 3.3 now, so it's enabled. So if you have a 3.3 firmware, 3.3.0 mainline firmware, S-Bus is there. You just have to go enable it, okay? So nothing special required anymore for S-Bus. It's in the firmware now for Express LRS, and it works. It works. All right, question number 11. KDoc9314 says, thanks for the videos. Would you know of any reason why I went from EdgeTX GitHub page and click on themes, and then I click on the latest version, it takes me to a restricted page? He's not the first person to say that. So what I ended up doing was I opened up an incognito browser window, and I went to the EdgeTX GitHub, and when I clicked on themes and the latest version, it absolutely did give me a restricted page. I just want to let you guys know, I did pass that information along to the Edge development team. They are aware of the issue. I do not believe at all that it's by design by the Edge team. It's something to do with GitHub permissions, and that's all. So they are aware of it, and they'll work on it. So thanks for bringing it up. I think the alternative is to log in. If you log in, you don't really have that problem. I have not had that problem when I'm logged in. I only had that problem when I'm logged in or not logged in and using an incognito browser. Okay. So if you see that issue, log in. Let's see. And that brings us back to question number 1, which means we are done with the questions. Boy, that was a long one, huh? Is he? I'm waiting. Freddie. He didn't say it. I was waiting. All right, let's see. That's what my splash screen is. Very nice. I think it's better to have ELRS running external anyway. You can use the higher power option and gets the heat outside the radio. I've been flying with the internal one, and so far, like today, I checked my data, and I saw one peak at 50 milliwatts. That was it. It was running at 25 milliwatts all the time. So Freddie was saying all the pages he goes to are restricted. Yeah, and that's where he gets the viruses too. JSC says it happens a lot on GitHub. Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing, but they are aware, so hopefully they'll get that sorted out. All right, that's it for Q&A. Next up is what's coming up. Okay. First things first, better to run Crossfire. Come on, man, get out of here with that. Express LRS is good stuff, dude. Bradley, so you can get an external LRS to go 4-in-1. Yeah, you can. You can. I used to run external Express LRS all the time. That was my main MO. 4-in-1 radio to external Express LRS with a Radio Master Ranger Micro. That was my combo for quite a while. Let's do it again, he says. That's what she said. Anyone using 2.9 for production yet? No, I am not. And on 6S. Okay. Let's see. Suggestion, opinion for motor size and KV for MFD mini crosswind on 6S. I'd have to go look, man. I'd have to go look. I don't know that one off the top of my head. I know the plane. I know the crosswind. And my Fly Dream Twin was one of my favorite all-time planes. But I don't remember the setup from that one anymore. Let's see. One peak. That's what she... Okay. All right. So here's what's coming up. I have a video... Freddie did a great job filming me fly the M4 today. Sadly, the GPS did not work. I had all kinds of issues with the GPS, so I have some troubleshooting to do on the GPS. I will work that out, and I'll get back to you guys on that one. That one is designed to do position hold, return to launch, and hard deck, and none of it worked. So I have some work to do. I don't know what the problem is. I've got to get in and look. What I can say outside the GPS is that the fly barless itself, the Spirit, is tuned and flying great. So we have video of the fly barless on the M4 doing fantastic. I had a good time flying the M4. That video is going to be coming soon, next day or two, maybe tonight, not tonight, next day or two. It's coming up. So be on the lookout for the M4 video. And then I also have a couple of airplanes that just came in from FMS. FMS sent me a few more planes. We're going to be doing some first look videos on those. One of them is actually a retread. It's a plane that I've done before, and they sent me another one. The first one I bought on my own. This one's sponsored. So I'll be doing another look at this one, flying it around, having a little fun with it. And then another one that's brand new to me. I've never flown before. So we will be flying that one as well. So first look videos on those two planes and the OMP M4. That video will be posted soon. And then Dave and I are going to be flying tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to do video or not tomorrow. We'll see. But stand by. That's all I can say. And then I will be trying to sort out whatever the heck is going on with the OMP M4. I've got some work to do there on the GPS. Don't have an answer for you guys on that one. When I figure it out, you'll be the first to know. But the M4, all I can say, a very good heli. I like it. It flew great. And the Spirit FBL outside of the GPS was pretty darn good. So I'm very happy with that conversion at this point in time. So that's it. Can I get a channel? Says so much in ELRS. No doubt, man. I love ELRS. I am completely converted. And I have Crossfire too, but man, I'm all Express LRS at this point. Bradley Norton, yes, you can add an external ELRS module to that. TX16S, yep, 4-in-1 module too. Yep, that's what I flew for a very long time. All right, fellas, that's it. We are, man, this is what happens when you don't do a pilot jam for a week. You skip a week. We got a lot of stuff to get caught up on, so we did. We're coming up on almost 2 hours of me straight talking, man. That's boss mode. Boss mode tonight, man. I'm gonna go rest my throat and suck down some sore throat lozenges, man. That's a lot of talking tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the pilot jam. I appreciate your company. I want to remind you, get on Discord. Get on Discord. You guys got to join, man. That's where it's all happening. The Discord community right now is grown. We've got a lot of people with a lot of knowledge in there, and it's a very pleasant community. I can tell you that right now. I monitor Discord very closely. We've got a very pleasant group of people on Discord. I like it there a lot, and hats off to you guys that are regular participants. Y'all do a wonderful job. Everyone's very polite, very friendly, helpful. We have a little bit of fun sometimes. You know, we just goof, light-spirited stuff, but it's all, you know, tongue-in-cheek, and it's fun. So get on Discord. And especially if you're looking for help, I can't stress that enough. The abilities Discord has for getting you help are so much better than YouTube. So get on Discord. Please join Discord. I'm begging you guys. Get out there. That's the place to be. So that's it. What a short jam tonight, says Freddie. That's appreciate that. Bradley Norton says, thanks, John Legend. Well, I appreciate you, man. Robert's going to tell you my head's expanding. Stop it. Let's see. Thank you. Discord.scored 700. Okay. All right, guys. Is your son winning in football? Yeah, we had, well, our first game was not great. We lost pretty badly. It was a tough first outing, but you know, they played hard and he did his best and he's playing a lot. So we're real proud of him, and obviously we'll get out there and support the football team on Friday nights. And we'll be doing the pilot jam on Saturdays, and we'll do that through football season. So next Saturday, be on the lookout for the next pilot jam. On that note, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. I thank you guys for spending your Friday nights with me. I hope you had a good time. Hope you learned a little bit, and get out there and fly something. I'm serious, man. Go fly something and get on Discord. Take it easy, boys.